And welcome back to the Dynamic Lifestyle. My name is Iqbal.
Hold on, Iqbal. Let me put my shades on. It's getting really hot out here. You can put yours on. Have you got yours?
I've got them in here.
Yeah, get them on. I'm not trying to be a poser, but seriously. Ah, that's better.
Yeah.
What a relief.
Amita Bachchan over there.
As long as you're not saying it's Govinda.
So keep on dancing, baby.
And welcome back to the Dynamic Lifestyle. Thank you very much for joining me once again. I'm sorry for my shades, but we've decided to sit outside and get some vitamin D, and because we're both fasting at this moment, we thought we'd make it harder for ourselves. But I have once again with me Professor Mahendra Patel. Welcome for joining me, Professor.
Thank you, Iqbal. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure in this fantastic weather and making my dehydration more and more pronounced. But however, it's all part and parcel.
Yeah, we thought we'd get Professor Mahendra Patel back on, because obviously last time that's probably one of the best performing videos that I had, and I thought, you know, a lot of you...
It wasn't that good!
It was alright, it was okay. You can't... I noticed that the distance between us is far enough now, so you can't punch me. Mahendra is now partaking in the fasting himself, even though he's not a Muslim. And what is the reason for that? Why did he do that?
Well, as you know, I did it last year as well. I did one, I think two last year. Mm-hmm. But as healthcare professionals, it's important that we give the right message, and we give we have the right understanding. And if we don't know what people go through when they're fasting, particularly long periods of fasting like we do in Ramadan, then are we really equipped to properly give them the right advice and support them? We can give them the advice, yes, but can we support them in the best possible manner, really? So I thought I'll carry on with some fasts, and every time I fast I do a day every now and again. I'm hoping to do much more this Ramadan, which I've already on day 2 of week 2. But I'm trying to put myself in different positions. Sometime when it's really challenging, when I'm working we're all working very hard, but I've got lots of work on, bang, 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 bang. Day, morning, night, evening, whenever. And then there's time when there's very little or relatively less to do. It could be just office work, sitting at a desk. So I'm trying to compare the different situations as well, really, rather than having sort of relatively sedentary fasts. But by understanding that, it's given me a terrific insight of the sort of things to look out for as a healthcare practitioner, as a pharmacist. And I think I want to share this with other healthcare professionals as well. Cultural competence is one, but cultural understanding and religious beliefs and behaviours is another, really, in terms of fully being able to effectively support patients that come in for advice and wanting information, really.
So what do you see the challenges? What's been the most challenging thing for you over the years?
What's been the most important thing during fasting
what's been the most challenging part for you?
The challenging part's been terrific, really, and joking aside, Iqbal, as you know, I fasted in possibly one of the busiest weekends I've ever been involved with, and this is not name dropping, but I was flying out to Lisbon on a Friday afternoon, and then arrived in Lisbon in the evening. And then I was opening the presentation of lectures at the University of Lisbon on the next morning at 9 o'clock. But it's a funny situation, really, because I was up till late, and then I thought, well, I hadn't planned it. Give me a good time to think about fasting, because it's going to be a really busy weekend for me, and so therefore I was going to fly back that same day, which I had, should I say, after giving my talk, and then flew back to Manchester in the afternoon of giving that talk. So then I've got the flights, the travelling, the pressures of the work of delivering something, particularly opening an event, a seminar that University of Lisbon was putting on, and some very eminent speakers on there as well. It was an honour and a pleasure, and I just didn't want to let them down really. So there was that, and then there was the fact that I had the airport traffic and the hustle and bustle, the fantastic weather like this, but even hotter, and then travelling through the airports, coming back to Manchester. Then I deliberately got a train from Manchester rather than being picked up, and see what that would be like until to get back in the evening really. And I think it made me feel that, as you know, I love my food, don't I? And particularly foods that are not good for you.
Of course.
So I'm a really bad advert from that perspective. You know, the fried foods and all the saturated fats, but I do have it all in moderation where I can really, and the sweet, sugary stuff as well, the creams, cakes, buns. And I was passing through that in the airport lounges and thinking, I can't. But the thing is, I don't often drink, which is not the right thing to do. We were supposed to have lots to drink, but I don't have a habit of drinking. But I did want that water a lot that day. And it's how you discipline and focus. But it made me reflect back on the fact that I hadn't prepared. And that's the message that I want to give out. The pre-prep, hold on.
Of course, go on. Go on.
The pre-prep, in terms of embarking on any kind of fasting, and I hadn't. So I want to show that. So I'm a typical person or a patient that sometimes may not pre-prep and have that advanced level of information and resource and support that you may need. So my problem was 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd eaten at 10 o'clock in the evening the night before. I hadn't drunk anything after that as well. And then I was doing the fast right the way through till 9 o'clock in the evening coming back here. Portugal has the same time zone. We're in the same time zone as we are here in the UK. So there's no difference in the time zone. But I'd actually done a good part of 20-hour fast at least, with the hustle and bustle and the traffic and everything that was going on. And
to be fair, you don't have to fast when you're travelling. I mean, was that something that you knew beforehand?
I get that absolutely hammered into me, that you don't have to fast when you're travelling. But that's an interesting point, Iqbal, because people are rigid. And they will be obstinate, and they will continue to fast. And that's the message I want to give out. That you don't look at, do people understand whether they're ill or whether they're fit enough to fast? Are they able to be in that position to make that choice and judgment? Sometimes not, I question. So what I did was daft. It was stupid, silly, because as Muslims fasting during the month of Ramadan, they do have the fluids and the long-acting sugars to keep them going through the day. I hadn't had any of that.
No, so you'd done the extreme, and the pre-prep wasn't there. Not prepared.
That's the message.
Of course. Yeah, I covered this in one of my videos about the 6 steps of keeping fit, or bodybuilding, as I put it on one of my channels. And I obviously try to get my 2 litres of water beforehand within the 6 hours, and I eat the correct foods. So I open my fast with carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates and fats, and then I have my proteins in the middle, and then my complex carbohydrates right at the end. So I mean, for me it's I've got this regime where I stick to, and it seems to get me through the day okay. I'm sweating now, I'm fine, I'm not thirsty, I'm not hungry or anything like that. So I mean, it can be done, but you just need to prepare for it, and I think that's what I want to say.
I think that's the key message, isn't it? And you've got a good regime there.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many people do have such a controlled regime like that.
Yeah. This fast today, so we are both fasting today. Obviously I am a Muslim, but Mahendra just fasts now and again. So today, what have you done? So what's been different about today's fast to Sunday's fast?
Yeah, so today's fast to Sunday's fast, so it made me, and we always give advice on the basis that speak to your pharmacist, speak to your doctor or your nurse if you're not sure about whether it's safe to fast. There's lots of information available as well. The South Asian Health Foundation are particularly strong on giving advice around fasting and Ramadan, and people for the South Asian diaspora, and there's lots of useful information there as well. Diabetes UK has messages. Royal Pharmaceutical Society now producing messages and supporting pharmacists to be better equipped, and obviously there's Lloyd's toolkit for Ramadan that we produce for safe fasting to give support to patients who are coming in, that we did with the South Asian Health Foundation and endorsed by the Royal Pharmaceutical Society. That's available to everybody, and it's available to everybody to access. It's not just for pharmacists, and it's free as well, and all this information is free. So what did I do different? I reflected on what happened last time. I then thought I'm going to do it different in the sense that in terms of preparation.
So what did you do different in preparation?
So this time, in terms of the difference in preparation, I ate normally as I normally eat, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening yesterday, and then had some fruit, something, just normal dietary regimes that I would employ on a daily basis. I actually didn't sleep until very late yesterday.
And was that on purpose?
Yeah, it was on purpose,
right,
to be quite honest. But the other thing is I didn't eat to build myself a reserve of food and energy and supply to keep me going the next day. I just thought I'd go normal. But what I did do was I actually had a meal, a very light meal, at 1:30 in the morning, with cereals. Had some nuts with it, so that's proteins there as well.
Long acting as
long
well.
acting, so therefore it keeps me going a little bit longer. And as I've said before, that I'm not a big drinker, but I had at least 3 or 4 glasses of water, if not more.
Okay.
So that made me, and I'm thinking, what time are we now? 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've really not missed being hungry in any way. Most of the afternoon I've been working from home, so I'm in the kitchen, I've got my coffee, etc., staring in my face. So there's still that, but that's makes me understand that people will continue to do what they want. So I have to continue. They're not, they shouldn't stop because somebody's fasting.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I think you posted a picture, I think when you were in Portugal, about people eating in the canteen or whatever, but that's normal. You can't expect people.
Well, to tell you the level,
doing.
because that was a breakfast meeting I had at 8 o'clock in the morning with somebody from the World Health Organization. So I said, Mahendra, I'll see you at breakfast in the morning, and that was another factor, because I said I'm fasting, and he said, oh, and I said, but they carried on eating, but I felt that I was putting them in a bit of an awkward position.
This does happen in real life.
Everybody understood. They carried on, and even when I presented, because there was lunch after my presentation, and it became quite public knowledge there that I was fasting, so he won't be joining us for lunch and going straight to the airport. But it is nice, because I thought there was some fun in there and some understanding, and if anything, it actually got a couple of people there thinking, should we fast and see what it's like?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some evidence that shows that I think it's roughly around 24 to 48 hours in between there where you start to feel the serious effects of dehydration.
Yeah.
So within the first day, 18 hours, I guess is fine, as long as you are drinking within them 6 hours. And please do try to get your 2 litres of water in. I try to get a bit more, but that's because I'm fairly active during my Ramadan, during my day. So obviously I've travelled here, I do like to go to the gym, I like to go for a walk. If that's something, then please do incorporate that into your diet and make sure that you basically adapt your diet to your activity levels.
I did have some fruits, because fruits particularly,
And,
the body, as you
It's
know,
been
is able to
mentioned,
retain
of
water
course.
more than actually drinking water or fluids. So therefore I was having watermelon, things
more
like that.
fruit,
So
watermelon, so certain fruit and veg high in water. Watermelons, cucumbers
are high.
very
in-
good. I mean, you can obviously look on the internet, see what is high in water, lettuce, certain things like that.
Tomatoes, all those things.
Yeah,
that, all
keep them high.
the juice is a time when people can start changing their behaviours.
100%.
In terms of positive lifestyle, and perhaps this is a message. This could produce a fantastic, healthy lifestyle message moving further wider forward.
It's actually a very good time of the year then to make a change, because you're already going through a change as of such with your diet and your activity. So maybe incorporate that after Ramadan as well. Might be worthwhile looking into that.
Yeah. And it's a double whammy, isn't it? Because if you've got diabetes, the chances are that your risk for having cardiovascular disease is higher as well.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, your mental health issue. So perhaps this is a good composite way of actually delivering a message, but not just for the 29 to 30 days during Ramadan, but then perhaps to continue that cycle of change as you move out of Ramadan as well, really.
Let's talk about the general health benefits then of fasting, because I mean you're only fasting 1 or 2 days here and there, but have you felt any health benefits? Because for me, let's take me for example, I feel a lot better during Ramadan, and I don't know why. I know people get really moody and have headaches, etc. If it affects your health, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. But for someone like myself, I just generally feel a lot better. I feel more active, energetic, dynamic. Just thought I'd add that into there.
Yeah, pardon the pun. No, I think you're right. And look, it's too small a fast, but these fasts, as opposed to me fasting as a Hindu, which is, as you know, I fast on Thursdays, but it's not like the Ramadan fasts, where we're allowed to have some fruit during the day and allowed to drink plenty of water with just one main meal. Some Hindus will fast where it's just one meal a day, but it's a very varied, but it's a continuous one. It's an ongoing one, so it's different. But I think this has been almost a challenge. But I've found it fun because other colleagues and friends are also doing it. I felt I'd achieved something, but without any serious degree of... It didn't stretch me.
No.
And for that purpose, I felt benefit mentally. That I've actually done something. Rather than eating all the rubbish that I do, which I would normally do, right? It's kept me away from that. It's only been one fast, admittedly, nothing like what you do. But it did give me a sense of satisfaction, achievement. It also gave me a sense of purity inside, I think. It made me feel cleaner. I didn't see it as a chore.
Right.
And that's interesting, really. I did it, I saw it, I'm going to do it. And I've had a few teleconferences and meetings. I didn't think about anything.
No.
So it's
I
made
think
me
the
feel...
idea for me is to keep active, and I don't mean physically active, but mentally active. Like if I'm sat around all day, I'm going to be thinking about it a lot more. And it's only during the month of Ramadan I start to realise that I eat out of boredom. Like, you
well, that's an interesting point.
Don't you?
This is why I wanted to do this from home this afternoon.
Yeah.
Because I get bored, so I'm into my chocolates, I shouldn't say that, and I'm always filling up cups of coffee, and I know it's because I'm bored. I want something to do. But I've kept away from that.
What do you appreciate more now than you...
What do I appreciate more than You don't want that. I appreciate the fact that any small sacrifice is a small change in behaviour that could benefit health long term, and I think this is the message that I feel, that small changes could have a monumental effect in terms of what it can do in terms of reducing your risk for cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, etc. But those small changes could be built upon.
Yes.
So take the example, I appreciate the fact that I fasted once and what that one fasting did, and it made me then go on to do another one.
You mentioned that you've tried to get other people to fast as well.
Well, let me correct that. I haven't tried to get other people, but I share my experiences. And actually, I've shared my experience, and they're fascinated.
Yeah.
They are absolutely fascinated.
Well, to be fair, I mean,
they said, "Oh, we
as
must
a Muslim,
try it."
it's always nice to hear of the story of a non-Muslim trying to fast, because just to kind of give you that insight of our daily lives during Ramadan. So, I mean, is that something that you've tried to show the people?
Yeah. That's a good question, really. that is also something that I want to, we live in a very integrated society,
Yeah.
and we see all these troubles and things, and I think if we do more of this, more people start understanding what we actually mean. And there's everything about this cultural competency business. Well, actually, it's not cultural competency. It's more about understanding cultural differences and beliefs.
And that's great. And do you know what? I'm gonna put this right on camera now. I'm gonna do one of your fasts after Ramadan and see.
You'll take the mickey.
It's a baby fast. Is that
It's
what
a
it is?
baby fast.
Well, I'm gonna do it, and I'll do it with you.
Okay, that'll be great.
That'll be
We can
good.
share
I'm
that.
gonna share that.
Yeah, we'll share
that.
that.
I love to do it.
We'll share that.
Yeah. One question I get all the time is how do you do it?
How do
Not
you do it?
why you do it. Not necessarily why you do it. I think people have a general understanding of Islam, but it's how.
Yeah,
And-
it's that. And I mean, look, 29, 30 days is a marathon in my eyes.
Yeah,
Seriously,
it
it
is.
is.
I mean,
because I was thinking one of the other things was when I did the fast on the Saturday, coming back in the evening, and I really, really appreciated the discipline that Muslims have when they fast, because I think I would have reneged if I had to fast on the Sunday because of the schedule that I had, leaving home at about 6:30,
Yeah.
getting to Birmingham, chairing that session.
I'm going to
and
be
flying
honest with
to
you,
Manchester.
the majority of Muslims wouldn't have fasted that day.
I would.
As a pharmacist, asking a fellow pharmacist, would you consider fasting, knowing what you know right now, if you were taking certain medication? Because I understand there are people out there who would fast regardless. I mean, obviously you've seen both sides of it now. Would you consider fasting on medication?
If I was fasting and I was on medication, that means I wouldn't be taking my medication if I'm fasting from a religious perspective. I would have to, it depends on what medication I'm on as well, really. But I would have to think, so if it was a statin to lower your cholesterol level, then that would be not as important to me from that perspective. But it did make me appreciate that the advice to give to patients, if they're fasting and they continue to be on medication, how important it is to give them additional information to what you'd normally give to patients to walk them through that journey of fasting during the month of Ramadan. Really.
Yeah, I mean, and this goes out to all the healthcare professionals out there. I know a few of you will be watching. Do you do anything to implement that in your pharmacy, in your doctor's surgery? Is there something that you do? Do you go the extra mile for people who are fasting?
Yeah.
And you need to ask yourself that question. I mean, I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to admit sometimes I don't, and I just assume somebody who's on medication doesn't fast. But as we've seen previously, a lot of people still fast. So I mean, it's for us to ask that question. So
it's made me appreciate the dangers more, really, I think.
Yeah.
And then interestingly, there was a nurse that had a patient just last week that had not taken their steroid inhaler, and they had to be admitted to hospital.
I heard about that one.
So I think, but we're always going to hear these examples.
Yes.
But I think if we can change that behaviour and that understanding, both among healthcare practitioners and patients, then I think we've got lesser burden going back to the doctors or even hospital that's not necessary at times, really.
Thank you. Please join us on another episode. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload. I'll probably upload my daily lifestyle during Ramadan. I'm doing a Ramadan vlog as well, so if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit the like button, comment in the comment section below, and thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
On the dizzying heights.